Here we are in game one with Haunting Scream, and this hand is okay. It doesn't have any way to force the units through, but it's got some good units. So I think I'll keep. It's this deck is prone to not drawing any units and then doing very little. So hopefully we'll be able to do some stuff. Drawing another Beastcaller there. If my opponent is short on blockers, I could potentially attack with the two Beastcallers or something. Okay, so they played a 3/3. I'm going to go ahead and play Lethrai Ranger. The reason why I want to do this here is because if my opponent has a removal spell, I'd much rather them use it on a Lethrai Ranger than my Argenport Instigator. Oh, there it is. That way I only take 1 damage, I can block better, and yeah. Okay. So, ooh. I don't see that card very often. Was it Amethyst Monument for the Puma. Okay, so now we're going to play Beastcaller, and hopefully that'll keep my opponent back. And then we can like scheme to try to find a Permafrost or a Suffocate and try to sneak this through. Although if my opponent doesn't do anything, I think that I'm just going to commit more to the board. Well, that's a bold attack. Oh geez, uh-oh. Steward of the Past is the one card that you do not want to see more than anything else, because it messes up all your Haunting Screams and whatnot. Okay, so we're going to continue to add to the board, keep my opponent back until we find a way to push one of these Beastcallers through. Champion of Chaos, okay. We do have, what, 2 Suffocates and a few Permafrosts? Ooh. Okay, well, I mean, I think this deck just wants to go for it. I could scheme to try to find a Suffocate, because if this dies, that's not too good for me, but I'm just going to go for it. And it looks like there's no fast spell for my opponent. So I get to attack them there, and bam, 2 5/5s. Look at that. Okay, so what should I follow that up with? I can play a Twilight Raptor or another Argenport Instigator, and an Argenport Instigator, or I can play another Beastcaller. But since I already have a Beastcaller on the field, I feel like I just want to keep the pressure up in the air. And if I can get another Levitate, then I can play it on this Beastcaller and sneak it through. Okay, so these 5/5s are pretty impressive. Oh, geez, Chart Chain Flail? Just taking down the other Beastcaller. Interesting. Well, I don't mind that. I still got the 5/5s, and if I can answer this, well, that's pretty good. Also, I've got 4 damage in the air. So I can play another Beastcaller. I only have 1 more Levitate in my deck, though, and that's the way that I'd be getting it through. I can also attack with these 5/5s, but they're basically just trading with one of my opponent's units, and I don't know how good that is. Like, if I draw a removal spell, I think that makes my attack with the 5/5 much better. And I like Scheme being the last card I play because it's costly. So I'm just going to attack in the air, play another Beastcaller, keep the fear in my opponent. Yeah. Then maybe next turn, if I draw a Sigil, I can scheme for something useful and then play Argenport Instigator, or perhaps I can play Argenport Instigator plus something else. Alright, so this gets Overwhelm. They're at 5 power. And nothing. Okay, well, let's start off with the scheme. We've got Dark Return, which isn't too impressive, Argenport Instigator, and a couple Sigils. So Dark Return, I think, like, it can get back a 5/5, but, like, these guys would be silenced. And usually I think I would take the Dark Return, but since there's a Steward of the Past on the board, I don't think it's very exciting. So I'm going to take the Instigator, just have more units. I think my opponent does have a removal here. It would make sense based on them playing... Oh, no. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to play another Instigator. And with 4 Instigators on the field, when I do eventually attack with these Direwood Beastcallers, my opponent's going to take a lot of damage even from just trading. So I look forward to that. Alright, they have another Sigil. What's their plan? I'm not at infinite life. 19. But if I draw, say, an Annihilate or Suffocate, and I can play this Instigator, like, that also does 4 damage to my opponent. Haunting Scream is not very exciting. Okay, Seal. Okay. Well, I can play another Instigator and attack with everything. My opponent can maybe eat these two guys, eat these two Instigators, but they have to do something about the Beastcaller, and they're taking a lot of damage. So take a while to figure out exactly what the best blocks are. They could also trade with the 5/5s, trade here, but then they're taking so much damage just from my Instigators. So I think I am just going to play the Instigators and attack with everything. I take a lot of damage from any unit that dies, but I think this should kill my opponent. And if this guy gets through, then I get 2 5/5s, which is a pretty big deal also. So, looks like they're blocking there. Not a huge surprise. They're going trade, and this leaves them lethal. So, yeah, that should be the game, right? They're going to take 12 damage or something from the Instigators. 16 damage. No. Sorry, 6 damage. 8 damage? 8 damage, there we go. 2 units that died, 4 Instigators. Okay, there you go. So, I was able to sneak a Direwood Beastcaller through, and then from there, I was just able to put some pressure on my opponent and win with all the Instigators on the board. That's pretty much what this deck wants to be doing. Alright, on to game 2.